If you love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude better than the animating contest of freedom, go home from us in peace. We ask not your counsel or your arms. Crouch down and lick the hands that feed you. May your chains rest lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that ye were our countrymen. Never been a time in our history that those words do not ring more true than now. The sad thing is finding someone in any level of leadership that talks like that anymore just doesn't exist. What's happened to us? What's happened to us as people? What's happened to us as Americans? What's happened to us as men? Why have we accepted this politically correct tolerance over the last decades, more and more, that we no longer show the fortitude that the people had that founded this nation? Oh, a lot of us that talk real big. We like to talk big about patriotism, of standing up and not, letting anyone take my guns away unless they pry them from my cold, dead hands. We've all talked like that. I'm guilty of it. But how many of us will actually take the stand? How many of us are actually willing to go beyond mere words and truly take a stand for your liberty? Our founding fathers lost a lot. The people that fought for our freedom, that fought to build a nation based on godly morals, godly principles, and of true free people, those people suffered a lot. They gave their lives, their families, their material possessions. Many of them lost it all to know that someday their posterity would know who they were, would know that they took a stand, stood up against tyranny, stood up against evil, and they fought for freedom. And yet, look at where we are today. I mean, it's been less than 300 years. How far have we come? A long way. We've come a long way in the wrong direction. We've allowed this radical, liberal, socialist, communist evilness to permeate not just our government, but us as people. We've allowed immorality to take over in our country to the point that it's now normal. The things now that are considered normal, they weren't even talked about when I was young. And it's even worse if you go back to my father's generation and my grandfather's, comparing it to now. The things that are allowed, the things that we tolerate, the things that are normal, that are okay, just because a group of people says we have to accept it. Right is right and wrong is wrong. There are a few things in life that are relative. But there's a lot of things that aren't. And when you allow this wicked, immoral behavior to just continue and be accepted and be praised and glorified, you're just creating the downfall of a people. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. All throughout history, There have been great nations rise up and do actually great things. Every one of them, when they lost their morals, they lost their moral compass, they eventually died and went away. And now look at us. We used to be the beacon of hope, freedom, morality, righteousness. That's what the world looked upon us as. Hey, we've never been perfect. And there's a lot of people that's going to comment and say, oh, but what about this that we did? And what about this that we did? Yeah, we did a lot. You know, I'm not a huge fan of what our government has done and what our government is. But there's, to me, a difference between our government and our nation. There is a difference. We, you and I, we make up this nation. We may not be our government. Yeah, I know you could make the argument that, well, we are, because it's a government of the people. But we are this nation. You can't stand around and say, well, this country's becoming wicked and immoral because we have a wicked and immoral, you know, leadership. Well, who do you think put that leadership in office? And that leadership may pass laws, but they don't set the morals for this nation. You and I do. We the people do. And it's we the people that have sat by and become silent while evil has taken over in our country. Evil from a moral standpoint, evil from a political standpoint. You know, what they say, the only thing for evil to flourish is good men do nothing. And that's what's happened for far too long. We have done nothing. We've done nothing. We've said, well, can't really get involved. Well, if they want to live that way, that's fine. Well, it's just not right for me to stand up and say that that person's wrong. Well, you know, we have to be tolerant of everybody. I mean, that's what they teach us. Well, it's wrong to say that about someone or something. We just can't do. Well, let's just, we need to just love and accept people. That's what we need to do. Love and accept people. Yeah, love is a great thing. But we also need to call sin, sin. We also need to call wickedness, wickedness. We also need to call, you know, out our government when it's doing all the things that it's doing and has done that are wrong. Excuse me. We once lived in a nation of true freedom. The whole world wanted to be like us at one point. Now they just want to come here and suck off of us. That's what they want to do. It's time that America either learns to stand on her feet and be great again, or she'll be nothing. And I fear that the being nothing is the most likely thing that's going to happen. You and I have choices to make. We have choices to what to stand for. That's what life is about. It's time that we start standing for the right things. Standing for freedom. Standing for righteousness. And knowing that, as Samuel Adams said, freedom is an animating contest. Meaning it's wild and crazy. And it's a contest, meaning that some win and some lose. Even the good guys lose sometimes. Meaning a lot of people die sometimes. Are you ready to take that stand? Because that day's coming. The good book tells you that. That day's coming. That where the good and the evil are going to have to take a stand against each other. And are you willing to take that stand if it means your life? I hope you are. I hope I am. So gird up your courage. Remember, those that fought ahead of us in the past, not ahead, in the past. Remember them and remember the lives that were lost to bring us where we are today. And what have we done but squandered it? And I know you can say, well, it's the liberals, it's the socialists. I do that a lot. But you know, really, it's you and I. We're the problem. We're the problem because we don't take enough of a stand. And it takes more than just armchair quarterbacking it online. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. We have to be willing to get out there and really take a stand. Live our lives differently. You know, this channel's called Set Apart. Of course, it's called Set Apart from a spiritual belief of how I choose to live my life based on the Bible. But we also need to be set apart in this nation and show the world that there really still are red-blooded, true liberty-loving Americans that will stand until they die for their freedom. Don't be the ones that lie down and lick the hands that feed you. There's too many of those in this country already. Don't be that. Be a patriot. It's a proud thing. Stand up for freedom. Stand up for your liberties. Teach it to your children. Talk about it. Don't be afraid of it. I know. Well, you know, I'll get fired at work. I'll get fired at work if we talk about things like that. If I mention about, you know, our liberty and freedom, well, maybe you need to get a different job or something. Because if you can't talk about the basis of what this nation was founded on in your workplace, then you probably have the wrong job. Sorry. Anyways, it's just something that felt I needed to say. And I'm no great, you know, fearless patriot myself. Oh, I'd like to think that I am. And I do the things that I can, but I know that I could do more. We all could do more. So get out there and do more. Take a stand. Be prepared for that day, though. Because that day is coming, my brothers and sisters. That day's coming when you or your children are going to have to make that decision. Make that decision to stand for freedom or for those chains to rest upon you. It's already happening. All right. Take care.